Today we're going to be talking about some of the benefits and some of the technical requirements of registration of a trademark. So the first point about the federally registered trademark system is you have 10 years of protection. So when you register a trademark, you get 10 years, and then you can protect it, you can renew that registration pretty much as often as you want. The basic requirement for registration is that you continue to use the trademark, that in fact it is being used as a way of denoting your trademark or your product as opposed to everybody else's. And the reasons for this are pretty simple. Imagine a situation where Coca-Cola lost their protection after a certain period. Then everyone would start making products that actually had Coca-Cola written on them, but in fact weren't Coke. And so what would happen is that consumers would be confused. So the idea behind the trademark system is we'll give you basically 10 years of protection, but then after that, you have to demonstrate that in fact you continue to use it, you continue to have a reputation. And that particular requirement comes from section 72(3) of the Trademarks Act. The other thing to note about trademarks is that they're not domain names, and they're not business names, and they're not company names. So a trademark is a sign which is applied to a product or a service in order to distinguish your product or service from everybody else's. But a domain name is a way of actually getting access to a website, as I'm sure you're all familiar. And a company name is, as you'd expect, the name of a company, and a business name is the name of a business, an individual doing business under a certain name. Dan Hunter doing business as Dan's Plumbing Supplies, or something like that. Now, the thing about those sorts of names is they're very important, they're legally significant, but they're not trademarks. The thing about trademarks is that they denote that this particular product or service comes from a particular place. So you need to distinguish between what is a company name, a domain name, and a business name from what is a trademark. The other thing that's important to note about the trademark system is that we have classes. There are 34 goods classes and 11 service classes. So what this means is that you register a particular mark in relation to a class, or in a class, in relation to certain sorts of goods. Now this is important because what it does is it divides up the trademark system so that you can have the same name in multiple areas because there's no confusion. Think about it for a second. Imagine the word McDonald's. Right? So McDonald's, the food corporation, the fast food corporation, they have registrations for the word McDonald's and McDonald, right, in relation to food and other associated sorts of products and services. But I could create a mark for McDonald's in relation to, let's say, heavy earth-moving equipment or computers. And if I did that, no one would really be confused. So the class system, the 45 goods and services classes in the international class-based system, is basically a way of dividing up the trademark register so multiple people can register the same word or the same device in respect of different sorts of things. And so what you find if you have a look at any of the trademark registers in any country is that there will be the same word often registered in respect of lots and lots of different things. The final thing to note in relation to the class system is that trademarks are geographic. Australian trademarks only apply to Australia, and American only apply to America. So it's perfectly possible to have a mark which is registered in America and registered in Australia in relation to exactly the same sort of product, but registered by different people. And a really good example of this is Burger King. Some of you may be aware that the fast food proprietor Burger King also owns Hungry Jack's. Now, years ago, right, Burger King opened in America, and an Australian guy looked at this particular brand and thought that would be a really valuable one to have in Australia. So he registered Burger King in Australia. When Burger King, the American company, came to Australia, they said, do we really want to try to get that particular mark from him? And it was too expensive. He was prepared to sell it to them, but it was going to cost a fortune. So what they did was they created a separate brand, a separate mark called Hungry Jack's. And the reason that they had to do that was because someone had already registered it here in relation to burgers. Years later, Burger King acquired the Burger King mark in Australia, and then they tried to rebrand their entire operation. But in an amusing twist of fate, what happened was that people really liked, in Australia at least, the Hungry Jack's brand. And so in fact, Burger King transferred their name back to Hungry Jack's. And now as you drive around, there are very few Hungry Jack's which are called Burger King, even though that was the original brand in the United States. The final thing to note about federally registered trademarks, the final advantage that you get in relation to it, is it's a form of property. Right? The property that you get is personal property. And this is really valuable for lots and lots of companies these days, because what it means is that they can license that particular brand to other people. Think about Marvel or DC Comics. Right? Marvel and DC Comics are not in the business of selling bed sheets or kids' clothing or any of those sorts of things. But if they've got the property and the trademark in, say, Superman or Spider-Man or Batman, then what they can do is they can sell the right to other people to be able to put those particular brands, those particular marks on their clothing or on their bed sheets. And the reason that they're able to do that is because the trademark system says that you can. The trademark system says once you've actually got a federally registered trademark, these things are property. They're owned by the person who registered it. And what that means is that that person can then say to somebody who makes bed sheets or coffee cups, right, or anything, right, we will license this to you so that you can actually use it because this is our property. In summary then, the three things that you have to know about the trademark system at the highest level is 1, federally registered trademarks are for 10 years but can be infinitely renewed. 2, there is a class system that allows multiple registrations in different classes depending upon the way in which you use them. And 3, that the trademark system grants personal property in the mark so that this allows the owner to be able to license the mark.